there is that gap right now that to generate high resolution video, we don't yet have the compute capacity, or it would be very expensive if you wanted to kind of parallelize it and have it work well enough that you could render that high quality video in effectively real time. We're kind of today, it seems like the stage that we're at, there was at the time of recording a couple of weeks ago, there was this demo. I can't remember who created it, but it was the video game Doom being rendered in real time, which that video quality is from the 90s. So we're talking 25 kind of years ago, video quality. But that will, I mean, there's no question marks around, will this happen? Will we get to a point where we're rendering high resolution video in real time? It is going to happen. While the way that Moore's law has progressed, can't go on forever, because you get to points where, physically on the chips, like electrons are jumping or whatever on the cards, but you can still nevertheless have cheaper and cheaper manufacturing processes, cheaper and cheaper parallelization to achieve these real-time feats.
Yeah, and I think for businesses like our one, it's a question of priorities, right? So it's like, well, what do customers want? For instance, in the case of L&D, real time isn't a priority. Actually, you want to make sure that the content has been thoroughly vetted, that's been reviewed by the people that need to review it before putting it out there. It's actually a pretty safe way to get AI generated content into the world, right? By minimizing risk. It's not like you're allowing it to be real time. There's actually a lot of reasons why real time wouldn't be adopted by enterprises. So not from a tech capability standpoint, but from a safety and responsibility standpoint. So, but we have seen, and we know that it kind of exists. With VASA 1, I don't know if you saw earlier this year, Microsoft released a demo of VASA 1, which was at the time and probably still is the kind of the gold standard in what real-time conversational avatars could look like. So, photoreal avatars that look very human-like, that can actually be real-time responsive. So Microsoft has not released this; they're just still working on it. And also, there are many concerns about how to release this responsibly. So while technically certain things are possible, they might not be priorities from a business perspective, because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't help your customer, and then also it might not be safe yet to do so. Got to think first, well, how could this be abused? How could this be useful? How could this get abused? And, all credit to Microsoft for, putting it out there as a possibility, as a capability, but not something that has been rolled out yet until they've kind of really thought through all the consequences.
Yeah, there's all kinds of obvious opportunities for criminal misuse of these kinds of tools, where you already today, you can have situations where, people of any age, but I think older people are particularly targeted with scams where it's, grandma, I've been put in prison and I need you to give me $20,000 in cash today. My friend will come pick it up.
Which is easy enough as it is, by the way.
Exactly,
I'm sure we've all got parents and grandparents that this has happened to, or we've even succumbed to it ourselves. You can just have a very basic WhatsApp, like no technology even required. Just change the avatar on a number, pretend it's a new number from a friend, and they get you to click on a link or whatever. It really doesn't take much, but you can see how something like VASA and you would basically more people. It'd be
easier to be susceptible.
Yeah.
And so already today there are open source tools for generating something that sounds like a person's voice. Because I host this podcast, or because you, Natalie, have been on, you've done so many public appearances, it's trivially easy for somebody to clone our voice using open source tools. And so, I've had to give warnings to my family to say, it would be very easy for somebody to fake me and to phone you. And so if it sounds like me and I phone you, but it's not my number, and especially if I'm, requiring anything urgently or anything to do with money, it is surely not true. You can phone me back. on my number.
I know that actually happened with my mother, and it turned out she did give money to someone. I was like, wait, you would have given me money? That's really nice. But now I've blown my chance because of this hack.